Assalamu alaikum students, hope you will be fine. Today we are going to do the exercise of this chapter. This is the last, the chapter is finished and here we are completing this exercise. I will guide you about exercise and you will do complete this in your notebooks. Okay, so here you can find question is that photosynthesis may be represented by this equation which you already know. Now the question is state three conditions necessary for photosynthesis that are not shown here. So here if you see this equation, so here you can find carbon dioxide, water, glucose is forming here, oxygen will release during this process and water will be available. Okay, now you have to tell three conditions which are very important for photosynthesis but not mentioned here. So the first one is, sunlight is compulsory. Secondly, that chlorophyll is compulsory. Third, you already know enzymes are present in the plants which are very important but are not shown here. Okay, so these are the conditions which are very necessary. Okay, then second part is state three possible fates of glucose form in the photosynthesis. So you have read about many fates, so you can write any three fates. For example, it is used in the process of respiration to release energy, it is used in the formation of cellulose cell wall, it is used in the formation of protein, it is used in the formation of fats, and it is used in the formation of sucrose which go and store in different parts of the plant. So any three fates you can write here. Okay, the second question is examine the graph. Okay, here you can see a graph is given and they are saying that examine this graph and answer the part A to D. Okay, A part is what two other factors beside carbon dioxide affecting photosynthesis are indicated on the graph or their axis. Okay, if you observe here on the graph, so here they have tell us about one factor which is carbon dioxide. Okay, they are asking what other two factors they mentioned in the graph. So here you can see temperature they have shown you, and secondly light intensity. So other two factors are temperature and light intensity. B part is name the environmental factor necessary for the photosynthesis that is not included in the graph. Okay, in this graph we have to explain or we have to tell about any environmental factor. Environmental factor mean anything which is present in the environment but it is not mentioned here. So they have mentioned temperature, they have mentioned carbon dioxide. So what other factor which is important for photosynthesis and plant is getting that factor from environment? So that factor is water, which is not mentioned here. Okay, now the next question is name an internal factor essential for the photosynthesis that is not included in the graph. Okay, that factor which is not present in the graph but it is an internal factor. Internal factor mean present inside the plant. So which is that factor? That factor is chlorophyll or chloroplast or green matter. Okay, now the last question D is carbon dioxide is describes as a limiting factor under natural conditions. By reference to the figure and your knowledge of photosynthesis, explain what this mean. Okay, so you already know even when we will studying about the limiting factor related to photosynthesis, we read about carbon dioxide and I explain all this topic, but here again I am telling you that carbon dioxide is described as a limiting factor. For example, here you can find that in graph 1 temperature was fixed at 20 degrees centigrade. Even in the second temperature was fixed here in at 20 degrees centigrade, but here you can find when carbon dioxide percentage was 0.03%, so there was an increase in the amount of photosynthesis or rate of photosynthesis, but after a certain time it become constant. Okay, and when the amount of carbon dioxide increased here and it is increased from 0.03% to 0.13%, so you can find there is a much increase in the rate of photosynthesis Okay, so this shows that carbon dioxide is acting as a limiting factor. But better remember one thing always, that this type of experimental condition are just possible in laboratory condition. These are not possible in the environment. Why? Because in the air the amount of carbon dioxide is 0.03%. If we increase this amount, it can cause many problems. It can cause global warming, as I have already told you that carbon dioxide has ability to absorb heat from the sun, and it can raise temperature, which can cause many other problems. Okay, so this is not possible in nature. It can just possible in experimental or in laboratory conditions. Okay, so beta, now you will do complete your exercise, and if there is any problem you can ask. Okay, best of luck. Allah Hafiz.